Hi. Movie Express recap here. Today, I'm going to explain a thriller, horror film called Devil. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. We see a man cleaning inside of a building. Suddenly a body falls on the truck outside. Later, we see a detective arriving at the scene where the man jumped. He inspected the body and looked at the surrounding buildings. The other cop couldn't believe that he jumped, as the dent on the truck wouldn't be possible from buildings that low. The first detective notices that there is no glass in their surroundings, and realizes that the truck could have rolled out from the place where it was found. The two detectives walk around a corner and deduce that the building is the one the man jumped from. Next to a skyscraper, we see a man in a hoodie, passing by as a sharp-looking gentleman. Lastly, a cheerful young woman strides through the lobby. All of them enters the elevator. All of a sudden, the elevator is jammed and stops moving. In the main security room, the security guards notice that one of the elevators is in inspection mode and call the building engineer. The engineer heads out to inspect the problem. Back in the elevator, the security guard starts to get anxious. A voice comes on from the comm system in the elevator, informs them that he knows they're stuck, and that there is an engineer on the way to work out the problem. The older security guard asks them to say something in the camera. There was no voice coming through, as there is something wrong with the microphone in the elevator. The security guard in the elevator tries calling the lobby. Next we see the two detectives finding pieces of shattered glass on the pavement. He orders the janitor to stop his cleanup, as he declares the place a crime scene. In the building, the engineer is seen inspecting the elevator control panels. He tries to fix it by resetting it. The hoodie man pushes a panel of the elevator roof and air starts coming inside. The security guard asks if they should try climbing up, but the hoodie man says it will be safer staying inside. The security guards told him that it didn't work. He then proceeds to the basement. To overcome his boredom, the sharp gentleman hands the old lady his business card, and starts his sales pitch about his mattresses. When the cheerful lady turned around, she was alerted by someone touching her bosom. She accuses the salesman, to which he denies it. The lights in elevator start flickering. The older guard in the main office calls the engineer asking if he is causing the flickering. The engineer, now below the elevator, pulls a lever on the side of the elevator and asks if that helps. The older security guard informs the engineer that there had been no change. Hearing that, he suggests getting on top of the elevator to reset it manually. The lights in the elevator flicker again. They're watching it happen from the main office, when the younger guard notices an anomaly on the screen. The engineer hears a strange noise, and follows it under the base of the elevators. He is almost crushed by an elevator dropping down the shafts. The lights in the elevator continue flickering before going completely dark. In the dark, strange noises are heard in the elevator, with loud thuds, with the lights go on and off. When the light comes back on for the third time, the cheerful woman is lying on the ground bleeding. The guards in the main office ask what's going on, when the younger one notices that the young woman's back is hurt. The people inside starts to panic. The salesman notices that he has blood on him and he tries to cover it. The now anxious woman says she felt like someone bit her. So the other officer asks if anyone has anything sharp that might have hurt her. The security guard in the elevator then notices the blood on the salesman. He justifies that she fell on him or she might have done it to herself. But the security guy doesn't buy his smelly explanation. The guards decide to call the police. Just outside of the building, the detective is seen flirting with his colleague. Alerted by the report, he heads inside the building along with his partner. Back at the main office, the younger guard shows his colleague the weird anomaly, but his colleague brushes it off. Inside of the elevator, the security guard and the hoodie man try to pry open the doors, but realize that it is futile. The salesman tried to help, but the rest of them ask him to back off. Meanwhile, the two detectives arrive at the main security office where they are briefed by the older guard. He tells them that the others in the elevator think the man in the red tie was to blame. The detective tells the security guards to call the repairman from the elevator company and also the fire department. They found out that the security guard is a temp. He tells the guards in the main office to do a background check on him. The younger guard tells him about the anomaly, but the older guard brushes it off again. They head to the lobby to check the visitor's log. In the main security office, the younger guard notices the lights flickering again inside of the elevator before the lights go off. When the light comes back on, the salesman was seen with a shard of glass from the mirror sticking into his neck. Meanwhile, the younger guard quickly calls two detectives back, seeing the salesman now dead. The detective then calls for backup. When he starts reviewing the footage, the younger guard starts telling everyone a story, flips a toast, embarrassing himself. He told them it's the devil and that one of those people in the elevator might be the devil. The detective thinks it's BS. He suspects the security guard elevator to be the murderer, as his partner reveals to him that he turns out to be a violent criminal. Meanwhile, the group inside the elevator is still figuring out who the murderer might be. The fire department arrives outside. In the main security office, the detective instructs the people to move away from the dead body, announcing that it is now a crime scene. The detective doubts that it was an accident, but he says that they don't look like murderers. The detective tells the hoodie man to take out a piece of paper from the dead man's pocket and raises up a letter to the camera. The detective then realizes the dead man was going to see someone in the building in the 35th floor. The detective heads to meet his colleague in an office with a broken window. The forensics tell him that the suicide note the jumper left is very strange. In the note, it mentions, "I can hear the devil's footsteps draw near." Inside the elevator, hoodie man is trying to get out of the top of the elevator, but is then slammed back in by the security guard, thinking he's trying to escape. The security guard frisks him, but finds nothing. The detective talks to the person the dead man was supposed to meet with the man in the building, and they find out that he was a scam artist. He then asks the person for a list of the people he has scammed. Back at the main security office, the detective tells his partner that one of the people probably didn't sign in, would be the murderer. Then he goes over to the security guards where the young guard shows him the anomaly he saw earlier. The detective then shows him the apology note that was left by the person that killed his wife and child in a car crash. He believes that people can be evil, even without the devil. While reviewing the footage, the detective finds out that the young woman is lying about someone grabbing her, and begins to suspect her as well. In the elevator, an argument broke out. Next we see the engineer climbing down the elevator to reset the elevator. When a flock of birds appear, he slips and the chain from his protective gear breaks. Out of the blue, something heavy drops on top of the elevator. They can hear the old guard's voice from the top, thinking that they are being saved. Blood stains appear at the top panel. The detective goes to the roof to check on the shaft and sees the dead engineer on top of the elevator. As he announces his death, the people inside hears the conversation on the walkie-talkie. Meanwhile, the firemen start digging through. Meanwhile, the detectives look through the footage in the main office and they see that the old lady is a pickpocket. The detective comments that all of them were bad people. Next they find footage of Hoodie Man, and notices that he had a satchel with him when he walked in the lobby. But the satchel is not with him in the elevator. Just as the detective leaves, the lights in the elevator start flickering again before it goes out. The security guard lights a match, and something strange appears next to him. When the lights come back on, the old lady is dead hanging. Witnessing that, the detective orders for a lockdown of the building, with everyone inside assembling at the lobby. Inside the elevator, the two men take the old lady's body down and shut her eyes. The guard tells him that it will take a few hours before she fully dies, which makes Hoodie Man suspects him. The detective then finds the satchel in the restroom. Inside, it contains tools that the detective suspect might be used to rig an elevator. Back in the main office, the younger guard starts reciting prayers over the comms. They introduce themselves. Ben, Sarah, and Tony. Hoodie Man, Tony, suspects security guard Ben as the murderer and accuses him. This escalates to a jiu-jitsu match between the two men, when Hoodie Man tackles Ben. Back in the main office, while the guard is still praying, the detectives walk in. Seeing what happened, he orders the people to back off and put their hands on the walls. As the people in the elevator settle down, the cop asks the young guard how his story ends. He tells him that they all died. His partner reveals that the young woman has records of blackmails. She was married to a rich man and that she was in the building to see a lawyer. The two of them run in the lobby to the lawyer. But the lawyer refuses to give any information. He only reveals that they should look into the people closest to her. The detective asks to get the woman's husband on the line. At the basement, he finds a sparking wire that is dipped in a puddle of water that is causing a short. He plans to get it out. Moments later in the lobby, the people that are gathered start screaming as the electrocuted old guard falls over. The detectives rush to his aid, but he is dead. The detective and proposes that the younger woman's husband might be the mastermind behind all of this, since he owns the security company that works in the building. The detectives think that the security guard inside the elevator is the killer, and he kills the other two as a decoy. Back in the elevator, the lights go out again. The detective tells them to use their phone screens as flashlights. However, their phones get ripped out of their hands, the lights go out. Sounds of them getting flung around were heard, with Ben pleading for his life. When the lights turn on, they see the security guard with his neck twisted. This leaves only the two of them, with each knowing that the other person to be the killer. The two people left grab a piece of glass in a panic and stand off against each other. The detective asks them to stand down, but they ignore it. He asks his partner to hurry up. Desperate, the detective asks the younger guard how he can help them. He tells him that they should take responsibility for who they are, so the detective shares a personal story with them about that and asks them to put the glass down. They are reluctant but obliges nonetheless. They reached a truce and they put down the glass. Without Hoodie Man's knowledge, Sarah has another ace up her sleeves. Once again the light flickers as they anxiously prepare for another round. Hoodie Man shines his phone on him, while Sarah reaches into her pocket to pull out the weapon. Moments later, the lights turn back on and the young woman is lying on the ground with a shard of glass in her throat. Hoodie Man is left dumbfounded. As the man tries to help her, the body of the old lady rises behind him, announcing that it's his turn now. The cops ask the rest to hurry and get in and arrest the old woman. The man has a flashback of himself driving a car. As he's reaching for a beer, he crashes into another car. He gets out of his car and he sees a woman and a child lying lifeless. The traumatized man flees the scene, only leaving a note on the window of the other car. Back to the elevator, he keeps repeating that he's sorry. He begs the old lady, the devil, to take him instead of the young woman, saying that he deserves it. The devil refuses the bargain, and angrily snaps the wire, throwing the elevator down the shaft. When it stops, the man finds the engineer's radio and confesses to the detective what he's done. The detective and the young guard listen to him and realize that he is the one that killed the detective's wife and child 5 years ago. They stare at each other, as the detective now believes his story. Inside the elevator, Sarah dies in his arms, and the devil, feeling disappointed, saying that she really wanted him, before the lights go out. As the light comes back on again, the firemen open the doors of the elevator with the old woman disappearing, leaving only the man and a pile of dead bodies inside. The detective then takes the hoodie man to the station. As the silence continues, the tension builds up. The detective finally tells him that it was his family that he killed that day. But after all of this time, he finally forgives him. If you like this story, subscribe to our channel. Turn on the notification bell to get updated on more videos like this. Leave a like and comment. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.